So, good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everybody. Job Management Alma. This is part 2 of our 2-part series. Last week on the 13th of April, we had part 1. Today, April 20th, we have part 2. And this is Yoel Kortick speaking from Libris in Jerusalem. And let's begin. So we're not going to review everything we already talked about last week. However, we will mention what we already talked about last week. Last week, we went over the different types of jobs, the scheduled jobs, the workflow jobs, the manual jobs. We looked at some scheduled jobs that just run as they are. We looked at several scheduled jobs that work in such a way that the user can do some kind of configuration, for example, from an integration profile, or from the fulfillment jobs configuration, or from an import profile. And today we're going to focus on the export jobs. Specifically, we're going to talk about viewing the exported files, and we're going to run those jobs in several different ways. Then we're going to look at the scheduled job status widget, which prevents users from needing to go into the monitor job schedule tab because it's all in a widget on the dashboard. Then we're going to look at a way that users can automatically be notified of a job, whether it succeeded or did not succeed, and the fact that it ran via email. And then we'll look briefly in a large overview manner at the APIs, which can also do what's called job orchestration, where jobs can be viewed, run, the results can be viewed, all via APIs. So without further ado, let's just jump right in and begin. So let's go now to the export jobs and viewing exported files. To this, as we often do, we will do this in such a way that we'll look at the PowerPoint, but only look at it. We're going to show everything live. So I'm going to log in to Alma in 2 different browsers. And on purpose, I want to be logged in as a user who has roles for just about everything. And that will be Alicia, who we often use. Those who have attended our sessions in the past will know that Alicia is our standard demo librarian, for lack of a better term. And I'm also going to log in here as a person called Mary Ann Barlow. And Mary Ann Barlow has limited roles specifically for acquisitions. Let's take a look at those 2 users before we jump in to the exports, because we want to talk about how roles are related to this. So if we look at Mary Ann, must have spelled Mary Ann wrong. There we go. And Mary Ann Summers, I think Mary Ann Summers might be the one from Gilligan's Island. I don't know how many on the call here recall Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island. That would be interesting. Who knows Gilligan's Island and Mary Ann? Anybody? Anybody going to date themselves here? All right, the skipper too, right? Okay, there's a lot of people who know, right. So we've got Mary Ann here. She's one of our users, but this is Mary Ann Barlow. So Mary Ann Barlow, as you can see in her roles here, they're all in role area acquisitions, except that she's a selector for Rialto. So Mary Ann Barlow is an acquisitions librarian, according to her roles. On the other hand, if we look at the user I'm logged in now, which is Alicia Hen, then Alicia, we'll see, has roles in every area. Every area. She's got 68 roles. You can see it's miscellaneous, cataloging, fulfillment, inventory. She's got just about everything. So if each of these users comes, for example, to admin and run a job, which is one of the activities we did last time, Alicia, who has all of the roles, sees here all of these different types. and can run all of these different types. She can say, I want to run something about users, and can run this job. Marianne, however, now I'm switching Alma's, and I'm in as Marianne Barlow. And if she comes and does the same thing, run a job, and goes to type, she's very limited. She only has export, update PO lines, and vendor reports. And more than that, Marianne Barlow now, for example, were to choose the export, she can export physical items and physical item labels. However, if Alicia comes along and goes to the export and then goes to the, so she's already got 8 options as opposed to Marianne, who only has 2 options. Now, what we're going to do now is, as it states here, we're going to do 2 exports in order to see what's going to happen. Now, when an export is done, it's possible for the staff user to send the file either to a folder called private or to a folder called institution. And then we're going to see what happens. But in general, a spoiler I'm going to tell you in advance, but we want to explain it with a live demo. If it goes to a folder called private, then only the user who ran that job can download the file, whether it be from the report or from the folder. If it goes to the institution folder, then anyone can download it. Let's say anyone with permissions to access the folder can download it. Let's take a look at what we're talking about. So let's start with export bibliographic records, and let me go to titles, and I'm going to make a set for us right now. Let's make a set here, and actually I want to make a set called all titles in this case, but we can do that in a moment. So let's say we want all titles. Okay. This is going to be my set for exporting. So I have an example. So save query. And I will call this, first of all, make it a non-private set, active, and I will call this April 20th webinar titles. Great. Then I'm going to do the same search, but this time physical items. And, I searched for the name of the set. I didn't want to do that. Okay. And we'll save this one. Okay, so now we have 2 sets. And save. Now let's run those jobs. We're going to run an export job, and we're going to focus on where the output file goes, and who and how it can be accessed. That's the plan. So first of all, to run an export job, we saw last week that to run a job, we can go to admin, manage jobs and sets, and then run a job. And we'll filter by export type. Now, like we said, here, we're going to run export bibliographic records to private folder. So let's do that. We got export bibliographic records. Then we'll choose the set. Set has the word April in it. Okay, we're sending this to a private folder. Export into folder private. Next. Okay, everything's good, and submit. And that job is running. Now we're going to do the next one. We're going to export physical items to the institution folder. Here we go. So now, again, admin, run a job, and export, and physical items. And we've got a set with the word April in it. Items. And this one we're going to send to the institution. Now notice the default is private. By default, only the person who runs the job can view the resulting file. But we're going to change it to institution. Next, submit. Okay, so we've run the job twice. And both of these jobs are very quick. In fact, both of these jobs finished. And there they are in the history tab. Now, Alicia ran the job. I am Alicia. Here I am. I'm logged in as Alicia, I should say. So now, one way to view the output files is to come again to admin and to manage exports. We're in manage jobs and sets, manage exports. Now I'm Alicia. In the private section, the private tab, of course, I see only mine. In the institution tab, I see anyone who ran a job. In fact, in order to show that, I'm going to log in as another user in addition to Marianne. I'm going to sign out of Alicia. I'm going to come in as Laura now. And Laura will come along and also run a job. Admin, run a job. All of this is going to come together in a moment. And she'll do an export. Maybe she will export digital titles. I'm going to send that to the institution. Great. Pending. Okay, that'll run eventually, no problem. Oh, it's running already. Finalizing. And done. So let's stay here as Laura. If Laura comes in now, she's going to go to admin, manage exports. In the private, she sees only her own. She doesn't see what Alicia sent just a little bit. And in institution, she sees her job, plus she sees jobs run by Alicia. These files, by the way, stay here for 30 days. After 30 days, in both in the private tab and in the institution tab, they're gone after 30 days. So, private, I'm logged in as Laura. I only see what I ran. In the institution tab, I see everybody's, including what I ran. Then I can download these by view files and download. And download. Also, another way to get the download file is from the report of the job. Let's take a look. I'm remaining, right now I'm remaining Laura. So if I come to admin, monitor jobs, and I go to the history, this is the one I ran, Laura J, report. If I go get the file, of course I can download. I ran the job, of course I can download. However, these that Alicia ran, if I look at the bibliographic records, I can't download the file. I can't download the bibliographic records file that Alicia created Because, as we stated here, the bibliographic records was sent to a private folder. So Laura cannot download it. She can't view even that there is a file when she's in the manage exports, when she's in the private in the institution folder. And even if she tries to open up the report and download it, she can't because it was sent to a private folder. However, if she goes to the export physical items job here, let's try that. Admin, monitor jobs, history. This one here, the export physical items, which was sent to the institution folder, she can click that one and download. So in sum, if a report is sent to the private folder, only the user who sent that job can download the file, either from the report or from the manage exports, which we saw is under the admin. If the job is sent to the institution folder, then anyone can download that file. Okay, let's go take a look at it in the PowerPoint, and then we'll stop for questions or comments. But everything we just said should already be covered here. We looked at this, we logged in as Mary Ann, if you recall, and we saw just a few options, and it says here, each user will see the list of jobs depending on her or his roles. And we saw that when sending out a file, it can go to a private folder or an institution folder. We saw that the private folder, only the logged in staff user that created the file can view and download the file. And in the institution tab, anybody can download it. Then we ran this job. We sent it to a private folder and submitted it. Then we went to the exports and we looked at the private and the institution, and we saw here that in the private tab, we only see the ones that the logged in user did. And when we go to the institution tab, we see everybody's. This was submitted by Andrew, this top one. The bottom one was submitted by Andrew. Doesn't matter if I'm logged in as Alicia or Laura, the institution tab can be viewed by anybody. Okay, so that covers the export jobs. Let's take a look and see if there's any questions or comments from anybody. I'm going to go into the chat. Let's see. I don't see any questions or comments. Everybody, anybody? I guess everybody's still hearing me okay. Just send in, yes, we hear you. I don't want to bother you too much with that question, but we don't want a situation where there's no questions because you don't hear me. Okay, great. Plenty of people coming in now. And let's go on. Okay, so the next topic we want to talk about is the scheduled job status widget. So until now, anytime we wanted to come in and wait, someone says in job history, does export indicate a private or institution folder? In job history. Let me put out the question here. I won't at any time mention who sent in the question, but let's take a look. This is the question. In job history, does export indicate a private or institution folder? Okay, someone else answers for us. Thank you. Someone else answers. No, it doesn't. You have to dial down. Dial down. Let's go take a look. So if we come into admin, monitor jobs, history. So we sent the bibliographic records. Alicia sent the bibliographic records to a private folder. So here, no, it doesn't, like the other person answered. It doesn't say that it was sent. We're going to dial down. And then I see. Okay. Somebody just asked a very interesting question, not related to our topic, but I'm going to take it anyway. Why isn't it possible, he or she asks, let me here. I'm going to answer that. Stay tuned. To be released in 2021, holdings search and holdings set management. In fact, I already have a placeholder. We didn't send out any invitations to this, not for a while. In July release to talk about this. July release, a lot of new exciting features around searching for holdings, savings holdings as sets. Right now, we can't export them because we don't have, what don't we have? We don't have a set. All of the exports work on sets, and we don't have a set, so we can't do it. But when we do it, you'll have the option. Okay, let's go on. Oh, people seem happy. We got a hooray, and we got a nice. Okay, let's move on. So until now, let's get rid of this. Until now, anytime we wanted to see what was happening, we needed to go to admin, monitor jobs, and then to the history tab. And then we can see exactly what's going on here. What ran, what succeeded, what didn't succeed, etc. Let me close that. Okay. However, I may want to see this on my dashboard. So I don't need every time to come in here through these various steps, admin, manage jobs and sets, monitor jobs, and then go to the history tab. I can put that right on my dashboard. And I can put on the dashboard the schedule job status widget. I'm going to remove it so we can see how it gets added. Now, there are widgets which are based on Alma Analytics. That's usually the vast majority of the widgets. Then there are widgets like this one here that I made called the Dewey blog, which is you can make up your own widgets. Then there are widgets that we ex Libris make, such as the Keep Up with Alma widget. There's also a tasks widget. And what we're going to talk about is the system job status widget. So to add the system's job status widget, we'll click the plus up here on the top right. And here it is, the schedule job status. Now I'll click it. Now you'll notice right here on the right, it says Keep Up with Alma. And then if I click it, you'll see above that, now we got the schedule job status. Again, I click it, it's gone. Now you'll see again, right underneath where it says RECE and above where it says Keep Up with Alma, boom, it got added. Okay, so now I'll close this Manage Widget screen, and I've got the Schedule Job Status widget. So the Schedule Job Status widget gives me an overview of the past 5 days. Here are the past 5 days, 2019, 18, 17, and 16 April. And we can see if something failed or if something ran with errors. So I see here, just by putting my mouse over the exclamation mark, the red exclamation mark, that this job failed and this job was completed, but with errors. Now, if I click on Analytics, I see that all of the jobs completed successfully. If I go to Fulfillment, I see also the jobs completed successfully. If I go to Discovery, I see that this job failed. And that's for all of the different days. I can do whatever I'd like. I can see whatever I'd like. By clicking the arrow next to these, it goes to the list of scheduled jobs, goes to the History tab of the Monitor jobs, to be exact. The History tab of the Monitor jobs, and there it filters automatically by both the category, in this case acquisitions, and the date, in this case April 17th. Let's do that. We're clicking to go to the jobs list, and we're automatically filtered, as you see here in the date range, by 17 April, and you see here by job category acquisitions. So it's automatically filtering according to what I have in the widget. Let's do that again. So if I choose again the scheduled job status, let's take fulfillment. I'll click this. I'm on 20 April. And here we are, 20 April, and job category fulfillment. Let's take a look at that in the PowerPoint, and then we'll see if there's any questions or comments. So the scheduled job status widget. We stated it's used to do an overview of all of the recently run scheduled jobs. We clicked on the top right at the plus. Then we clicked to add the scheduled job status. We saw it here. We saw that we have the red exclamation mark if something completed but had errors or failed. And then we have the green check mark when something was successful. Here we looked and we saw that there was a failed job. We saw that there was a completed with errors job. We clicked to go to the job list and we saw right to the history tab those same jobs that we saw in the scheduled status widget already filtered by the same job category and the same submit date. All right, let's take a look and see if there's any questions or comments there. I'm going into the chat. Somebody writes, the widget is the first thing I check every day. Super helpful. That's good to know. Thanks for sharing that. I don't see any other questions or comments. So in that case, we're going to move on to the email notifications and system job letter. So in addition to going to the scheduled jobs, and in addition to using the widget, it's also possible to get information about the scheduled jobs by having an email be sent, either only if the job fails, or only if the job succeeds, or always having it sent. Someone may say, only send it to me if it fails, otherwise I don't want to know. I'm assuming everything's fine. Someone else may say, I always want to know when the job ran, send it to me. So let's go take a look at what we're talking about. There's two ways to add information or add a person to get the information via email. Let's take a look at one way. So if we come along here and let's go back to admin, monitor jobs, scheduled. So one way to do this is in the scheduled jobs. If we click the ellipse is those three dots at the end. Let's take a job that we can run. Let's go to, we're already in acquisition. So let's take this one here. Import using profile accounts department. Let's take a look. Email notifications. So by clicking the three dots and then going to email notifications, let me get rid of that user. So we'll add someone brand new. I just want to start with a clean slate here. So if I say email notifications, I can add here users who will get the email. Let's do that. I'll add Alicia because I have her email. Now here we're saying send it if the job succeeds and also send it if there's an error. Add the user. Or I could just come here and send it and put in an email address of somebody. So let's not add the email address of anybody. So I've added that Alicia will get notification about the ERP import using profile accounts department. Save. Then it's also possible for some jobs to add it inside the job. For example, if I go to resources, publishing profiles, and I take, for example, this job here, create a Cheryl Sandbook output format bib frame, edit. So here, let's schedule it. And then we've got email notifications. So I'll click email notifications and add a user. This time I'm doing it from within the job. And now we've added. So here we clicked it right here. This is Creator Sheryl Sandberg, output format BibFrame. We added it here by clicking email notifications from within the publishing profile. And it's also possible, let's go back to the run a job, excuse me, to the monitor jobs, and to the scheduled. And to the publishing. Here's our scheduled job, publishing platform, Sheryl Sandberg, output format BibFrame, and email notifications here. So this is another way to access it. I can either do it from the three dots in the list, which is called the ellipsis, in the list of scheduled jobs, or from within the job. Let's run both of these jobs now and see what happens. So we'll say resources, publishing profiles, and I'll take this job. This one, this is the one we did. Sorry about that, right here. Run. Great. And I just want to make sure that's really the one we added, because I see this 2 here with Creator Sheryl Sandberg, email notifications. Yes, that's the one. And let's also run the job, which is called the ERP import for the accounts department. So we'll go to the integration profile, just so we can run it instead of waiting for the scheduling. Here it is, accounts department finance. Actions. Okay, and run. Great. So these all ran. Let's go take a look at them. Admin monitor jobs. And history. Okay, here's the publishing. Here's the ERP. So both of the jobs ran already and completed. I'm going to move this down here. Okay. Now, let's go to Alicia's email. Alicia allows me to log into her email. Okay. So here we are. The ERP import, that ran right now. Let's go take a look at that. System job notification, she got an email. Now, this says, Dear Sir, Madam, and her last name, and ends, looking forward to seeing you really soon, with really in bold. Just because I want to show this letter soon. Then let's take a look at the other one. This one also ran. You see it's 2 minutes ago. That's our job. And again, it's the same letter and it ends the same way. Looking forward to seeing you really soon. Because I configured it because I wanted to prove that it's that letter, and we're going to keep playing around here. Now let's go take a look at this letter. This letter is called the system job letter. All of this is in the PowerPoint. We're going to look at the PowerPoint soon, and you all have the PowerPoint. I sent the link last session, and I'll send the link again this time. So let's go look at the job. Where am I? Oh, I want to go here. Configuration menu, general, letters configuration. And let's go get the system jobs letter. There it is, and edit. Okay, so I changed the address from to be my address. I'm going to change it now to be, so let's continue our other scheme. It's going to be from Gilligan at library.edu. Okay, so we're changing the address from, and in the template at the bottom, where it says, we're looking forward to seeing you really soon, let's make the really not only bold, but let's say font color equals red, and close the font. And instead of the greeting, which is dear sir, madam, etc., or let's change anything here. We got a whole letter here. Let's go to the top here. And okay, that's the sincerely that I commented out. Okay. Somebody just answered their own question, it looked like. Let's change the column widths here. No, let's not do that. I think we got enough. We changed the ending here. We made this bold, and let's do, should be enough. Save. Look at that. Alma's so smart, it tells me, and someone even told me. Someone wrote in, I forgot to close my bracket after red. Okay, where are we? Here. Great. So we changed the email that it's coming from, and we changed the closing greeting. Let's give that a try. So let's run at least one job. Let's go to general. Oh, we want to go into, we're in configuration. Integration profiles. This one here, edit, actions, and run. Okay, she's running. Let's go back to the Alma menu, admin. Okay, it completed. Oh, that's the wrong mail. Okay, there's our new one. This one came from Gilligan. Okay, the previous one came from me. I changed the from address, and now it's coming from Gilligan at the library edu. We'll open that up and look at that. And now we also have, I'll make that bigger so you can see, we have it in red here because we changed the font. Okay, so I can just imagine now the next person going in, encountering that letter, giving a fancy demo, and all of a sudden it's coming from Gilligan. So I'm going to take that letter and clean that up. I don't want someone showing a letter from Gilligan. So that's the system. By the way, the search box here didn't always exist. We added that a few months ago. Let me edit that and restore the defaults. Okay, so now it's back to all the regular boring stuff, your department. And in the template, I'll restore this one, back to all the boring stuff. It won't have any red fonts at the end, and save. Okay, so I'm going to go into the PowerPoints, make sure we covered everything, then stop for questions. So we said that you can go in and give the email notifications from the list of scheduled jobs. And then you can add a user. And we added Alicia. Then it comes as an email. And we showed the email. And we show that this is a letter just like any other letter that can be customized. Let's go look at the chats and see if there's any questions or comments. Okay. Okay, so it looks like there's no open questions now on this. Okay. All right, great. If there's still a question, let me know. I think the person who asked a question, oh, someone has one about the letter admin role. So general system, if someone says the letter admin role would allow me access without full, I'm not sure what you mean by that one there, without full somethings. General system administration. Letter admin role. Let's take a look at something. If I were to come along here now, I'm logged in as Laura Jackson. And Laura Jackson, whoa, 118 roles. And let's see something here. First of all, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to get this to the 50. Oh, I'm already at the 50. And I'm going to organize this by the role name ascending. Okay. So if I were to come along now, just to play around and say, I'm not general system administrator. First, I'm going to start only with that one. I undid general system administration, and I'm going to leave letter administration. And I'm going to log out. And then I'm going to log in. Didn't I say log out? Yes. Then I'm going to log back in. So now I got rid of general, I don't even remember which one I got rid of. I'm sure one of you remember, but we can check it in a minute. So now under general, I can still go to the letters. So general system administration, if I don't have general system administration, but I do have letter administration, letter administrator, I do see it. But let's get rid of letter administrator now. So this is still in order by role name. Now we're going to put back general system administrator. We're going to undo letter administrator because we're seeing now which role is allowing me to view the letters. So now I do have general system administrator. I do not have letter administrator. Save. Sign out. Sign in. Configuration, general. Okay, let me see something here. Okay, so I probably am going to need to get rid of both of them. Let's give it a try and see. User details. We'll go to the GSA, General System Administrator. So now this user has neither general system administrator nor, is it neither nor or neither or? In any case, she has neither general system administrator nor or letter administrator. Save, neither nor, thank you. Okay, so now let's get out of here. And let's log in, same user. Doing a little debugging QA here. And general. Oh, now I don't even have the general. Okay, so that's answering us. I'm going to go in on another tab here. Hold on a minute. Just to really make sure I'm refreshing everything. Laura. And configuration. Then we're going to get right back to our scheduled program. Okay, now I no longer even have the general because I'm not the general system administrator, so I can't access the letters. If you don't want to access letters, I'm going to say if a user does not have general system administrator or letter administrator, and she or he cannot edit the letters. Okay, I hope that answers your question, but that's what we saw. Conclusive scientific proof, because we got rid of only when we got rid of both of them, could Laura no longer edit the letters. I'm just going to put those back now so that she's all cleaned up. Okay, then we're going to go on. I see there's still questions on that, but I'm going to go on anyway so that we can stay with our regularly scheduled itinerary, because I do want to point out the APIs, though it's going to be on a very high level. So let's go into the developers network. And I probably will need to log in here. And yes, I do. And we're going to look now at APIs. Let me just log in here. I can't do two things at once. Okay. What we're going to do now is see how APIs can be used to do what's called job orchestration. It's like an orchestra. You got the violin and the trumpet and the guitar and the piano, and all of them are going to play together. Same thing with the jobs. It's possible to use the APIs to send the jobs, and it may be that you want one job to finish before another job starts. For example, maybe you want to run an indication rule on a set or combine sets or who knows what, and then you want to do something with that set, or all kinds of things. So I like to look at it right in the API console. You could go right into the documentation, but the API console also links there. I'm going to do this fairly quickly, simply because it's not going to be a whole lesson on APIs. It's just going to be awareness that there are APIs for this functionality. And within these APIs, we're going to go to the area which is called configuration and administration. And here we are. Now, among configuration and administration, we have several areas. For example, organization units, general, and jobs. And then there's many others. There's sets, deposit profiles, integration profiles, all kinds of stuff. So let's look at the jobs. And let's take a simple one like retrieve jobs. So let's run it here. And if I click try it out, we can run it. So first of all, I'm going to say I want 100 jobs at a time. Category. So filter jobs by their category. What does API stand for? API is an application programming interface. APIs are ways that, let's call it via programming, an institution can create their own local application that runs Alma jobs or that does all kinds of activities in Alma. That's what an API is. Ex Libris didn't invent APIs, they exist in the world, and we have a lot of APIs. In fact, there are more transactions occurring from APIs than manually. So the category, I'm going to put the category in here as acquisitions, and I'm telling in advance, there's an error here. I'm putting in an error on purpose. Now, if we come to view the jobs, so if we go and we view the jobs, we'll see that there are several different categories of the jobs. And one of the categories is going to be acquisition. So let's take a look at that and run it. One moment, please. Just plugging in my electricity here because I think I'm getting low. There we go. Okay. Okay, yeah, you see that? I've only got 22% available. Okay, so let's take a look here. If we come to admin and monitor jobs, so schedule, these are all of the categories. Hold on. Okay, these are the categories. One of the categories is acquisition. So I'm on purpose making an error that you probably don't even know yet what the error is, but on purpose I'm making an error. Okay, so I'm going to say I want acquisition, pasted it exactly as it appears. I can also say I only want the manual, the scheduled, or the others. Let's even put in the scheduled. And that should do it. And execute. And I get an error message here. Oh, I don't get an error message. Fine, also good. Let me do it like this. Let me say I want acquisitions. Execute. Okay, now I get the error message. The category is invalid. It received acquisitions, and then it tells me all of the possible ones. So in short, if I go through here and look all the way through ACQUI, it's supposed to be acquisition without the S at the end. Here it is. These are the legal ones, and it's supposed to be acquisition without the S at the end. So it's telling me what the legal categories there are, and we'll stick that in and we'll run it one more time. Execute. And great. So here are the jobs. And if I want to view these better, these are all the results. We have trials and notified participants. Then we've got a job PO line deferred. Then we got a job PO line renewal. But I'm going to take this URL. I could just stick it in a browser, or I could stick it in a API emulator. Okay, so these are the jobs. And here's the job we did. It was called ERP import. Let's say import. Here it is. The ERP import using profile. Let's go get it. There it is. ERP import using profile accounts department. It says it was created by Alicia. It's scheduled every Monday at 7. So if we go into Alma and we look at that, let's go here into monitor jobs. And here it is, ERP import created by Alicia every Monday at 19. So what we've done is we've retrieved all of the scheduled jobs via an API. That's enough for our purposes, that everybody's aware that the APIs exist for this, but no need to actually run them in depth. Let's go take a look at the chat here. I got to go to another meeting, but thanks for taking the time to answer my question. We keep bumping into issues. Okay. I don't see any other questions or comments. Are there any other questions or comments? While we're waiting to see if there's any other questions or comments, I'm going to send out the link. Someone says, what is the use case of these APIs? You can see the scheduled jobs in Alma. The use case is there are places who write an application which automatically runs jobs. And before a job gets run, you have to make sure the job exists. You have to get the job ID if you're sending it via an API. So in order to eliminate the need for a human to log in and log out, the API goes and gets all that information. I'm going to send out a link to this job management in Alma. Copy link location. And send it out. Okay, so everybody's got a link now to the file. It's the same file, the part 1 and the part 2. We just did the first part and then the second part. Someone says, how did you create the Dewey widget? The Dewey widget. There's ways in Alma to create a widget, which is not an analytics widget. Let's save that for another time. I see your name and I'm going to copy it and send it to you later. But there's all different ways to send to make a widget. I'll send something on there. Okay, so thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us, and we will be posting this to the Knowledge and Education Webinars page, as well as to YouTube, and we'll be sending out the recording, the notification that the recording is there. So thanks a lot, and we hope to see you soon. Have a nice day.